Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today is a super fun one because we're talking about all the books I want to read in February. That's right, we're talking about my February TBR. So first up this month, we have The Wild Huntress. I actually got this as an ARC. Thank you to NetGalley and Little Brown for that. And naturally, I fell behind on my ARCs, so now I'm catching up by planning them into my reading each month. So this one is by Emily Lloyd-Jones, the same author as The Bone Houses and The Drowned Woods. And this book is set in the same universe as those two. So we follow three different characters, a huntress, a prince, and a trickster, as they all compete in the Wild Hunt, which is a competition often quite deadly, and the prize at the very end is a wish granted by the other king. So basically a wish of all your desires. I haven't read that author before, so I'm really excited to get into her work. I've heard a lot of good things about Emily Lloyd-Jones, and yeah, just can't wait. I'm super excited. Next up, we have my in real life book club pick, which is Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghosts by Kate Rakulia. This follows Tuesday Mooney, who's a loner. She loves puzzles and spends most of her time rewatching episodes of her favorite shows. Sounds familiar. But then she gets a billionaire dies and leaves a treasure hunt in his wake, and she naturally, as a puzzle lover, gets wrapped up in the whole shebang. She teams up with a ragtag crew of people. They have to figure out the clues so they can get a piece of the billionaire's inheritance. I'm excited. This sounds really cool. I'm not exactly sure how it falls into fantasy yet. There's some mentions of ghosts in the blurb, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm really excited to figure out what's going on and how this falls into fantasy, because my book club is a fantasy book club. So, okay, next up is actually a book I took from my TBR jar and pulled the name from, but it's a classic that I have not read, so I'm actually quite excited. We have Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey. This follows Lessa, and she is an orphan. She's kind of on the edges of society, and she is bent on revenge. Ancient evil comes back to Pern, which is the world they live in, and Lessa rises on the back of a dragon. I mean, especially with Onyx Storm and all of that coming out, I'm really excited to read another dragon book. Like, who doesn't want to read more of that? Next, we have another pull from my TBR jar. We have Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. I actually pulled a book further along in the series, but part of my rule is if I do that and I haven't read the earlier book, then I just swap it into that. But this is the first book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. I think it was her first series, Elsie Silver's first series, before she kind of like popped off to fame. But Gold Rush Ranch is a horse racing series. This one follows Vaughn and Billy. Vaughn, I think, owns the stable, and Billy is the brand new racehorse trainer. She has a lot on her plate. She's come in, she's a new trainer, and she's promised to make a problem horse a winner. That would be a lot easier if she could stop flirting with her boss, or if he would stop flirting with her. Yeah, I'm excited to read this. I've had this on my TBR for a while, and I just haven't gotten to it. So I'm really excited that the TBR jar has spoken, and I will finally read more Elsie Silver. I've read her Chestnut Springs series, or at least part of it, and I just really enjoy her writing style, so yay! And then the next book is from all of my followers, friends, all that. I asked for recommendations for 12 from 12. This one comes from my friend Kate at Library of Moonlight on Instagram. She's such a wonderful person. I love her so much. So I'm really excited to start with this book, and that is Indigo Ridge by Devoney Perry. I've seen her post about it. I have seen her rave. I know she kind of went on and read all of Devoney Perry's backlist. So I'm really excited to get into this. This book follows Winslow, who is Quincy, Montana's new sheriff. She's having a bit of a hard time because she's seen as an outsider, and a lot of people seem to think that she got the job because of her grandfather. And you know, she was told she needs to go and sweet talk the small town royalty, the Edens. That would be a lot easier if she didn't accidentally hook up with the Eden's oldest son, Garrett. Yeah, that sounds like a tricky situation, but it's only made trickier when a dead body shows up on the Eden's property, and she actually has to go there a lot. That sounds perfect. Like, I want the murder mystery. I like the awkward people. I like the small town dynamics. I love that she is viewed as from away, as us Mainers say, and she has to navigate that. Next up, we have Saved by the Galadrius. This is my podcast book club, so Plots and Prose podcast. You can find it on Apple or Spotify. We also post our videos to YouTube. But this one is super fun. It's by Mary E. Jung, and it follows Elora. She has a chronic illness. It is getting quite dire because she's just not being believed or treated properly by her medical personnel. And I think a lot of women can relate to that. So this is a spicy monster romance book. She is brought to this magical island to receive her life-saving treatment, and part of that involves being with a Galadrius, which is like this weird bird human hybrid. As you can imagine, things get spicy, things get weird, and I am thoroughly entertained by this whole premise. All right, that's all the books I hope to read in February. This is a pretty aggressive list, but I think I can do it. I used to read a lot more. I've been in a bit of a slump, and I think a lot of that has to do with doom scrolling. So I'm going to be trying to stop the scroll and actually spend time doing things that I actually want to do, like writing and reading, drawing, and other creative pursuits. So that should be great. Thank you everyone for tuning in, listening, liking, commenting. I appreciate everything. If you like what you saw on this video, please leave a like or comment. And if you like everything, feel free to subscribe. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.